You got destroyed by Josh Allen on Thursday. You got roughed up by that Texans game. And now you're going into week 12. And you got to have a hope and prayer. You're trying to shoot a deep shot now. You're trying to go home with a lot of gusto in that lineup. You're trying to shoot from half court now instead of from the free throw line. And now you're looking at the wide receiver plays, the running backs with upside, and what you have on your bench versus what's there on the waiver wire with what you got in your starting lineup. You need that player that's in a situation, in a game script, that could go off this week. And Jamar Chase gave us a chance. I'm not going to say he's going to give it to us because that's not how football works. But he's giving us a chance because now we got Yoshi here to hopefully push us over the limit here for fantasy football in a game script that could go off with a quarterback that doesn't care. We're going to deep dive Yoshi here to see the good, the bad, the ugly, and see whether or not you need to make this play because some of you guys don't. Some of you guys have to. And this is going to be according to your context. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're looking at these players every day. We're doing deep dives, all these trending players, all these players who are stepping into the starter's role, and you don't know anything about them. You've been working extra hard. You're getting overtime for the kids, but you know what? I still got to set my lineup. I'm here for you. This is why I deep dive. And I'm doing this every day, and I've been doing this for years. I'll be here next year. So you need to click that subscribe button right now. Get your deep dive. Just search the player you want for that week. I'll probably have it out. I did like 3 or 4 yesterday. I'll do a few today, and I'll do a few every day. Click that button. Stop missing out. It's a free resource. Ric Flair's watching. Don't disappoint Ric Flair. But starting off here, Jamar Chase is out. He's suspended. We tried to get around it. It wasn't looking good. Jamar Chase is suspended. So that opens up Yoshi and Jamar Chase, target-wise. Does not matter who the quarterback is. Oh, it does. Browning, it does. I retract that. That could go bad. But it doesn't really unless you're Browning. Flacco doesn't care. He pushes it all over the yard. And he pushes it to Jamar Chase because that's what you should, because he's that good. At one time in weeks 7 and 8, 23, 19 targets in the game. Those targets won't go straight to Yoshi. It will spread out. It will spread out in the offense. That happens with every time, almost every single time a pass catcher, especially one with a lot of targets, is out of an offense. The targets will spread out. It won't all go to T. Higgins. It won't all go to the guy right behind Jamar Chase. It will spread out. So you'll catch a little bit more to T, maybe a little bit more to Yoshi, maybe a little bit more to Fance, maybe a little bit more to this guy over here, or something busting the game script. A lot to that guy, but it ain't going to go concentrated like it does to the next man up at the running back position. Yoshi is stepping up here, and this is a wide receiver. Off and on throughout the season, has been getting some decent workload. Like he, in some moments, pushing 5+ targets, 7 targets in some of these games. He hit the fairway twice already this year. So now he's going to get the opportunity to splash for us. He's a big-time gamble. I'm just going to call that out right now. He's a big-time gamble, but with big-time upside in the situation. And he's from Princeton. Not a super producer there, but a great market share of the passing offense. Deep downfield, average depth target, 11.8 on his career. In the 10s or higher throughout his career there at Princeton. Killed it that final year there. 64 balls caught, 924 yards, 7 touchdowns. At that level where he's at, that's big-time production, big-time athleticism. This guy killed it at the Senior Bowl. He turned heads after playing it with lower competition and having to play with the bigger guys there. The SEC players, the Power 5 players, the G5 players. All of that's a step up in competition. And we're able to stick around in the league after being a 6th-round pick. A late 6th-round pick, almost 7th-round pick, which is almost the UDFA. After being a late-round guy, we're still able to stick around the league and hone in our skills. That's a testament to the quality player we're looking at. Big-time athleticism here, big-time catch radius. This is a player that you can move around. This is a player that has gotten better for him. Like, you're not seeing him blow up in fantasy. You're not seeing that, but he's gotten better for the Bengals. He's gotten better for the Bengals. That's what I'm getting at. I don't want to mislead you. This is a player that's able to stick around the league after being a late rounder, after having a big-time wide receiver class last year. After looking at the market of wide receivers, they chose to stick with Yoshi here for a reason. Because you're looking at this offense, you got Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton comes to this offense here, and you're looking at him as the next man up, as the wide receiver 3. He had some issues, getting kicked out of apartments and all that kind of stuff. He's had some issues. He could be a sneaky name, but he's had some issues. And Yoshi's supposed to be the gatekeeper. Yoshi closes that damn thing shuts and put the padlock on. That's what he did. That is what he did. He was getting the reps last year. They had the battle in camp. He won it out. You're looking at Jamar Chase. He's the man. T. Higgins, he's the man. Jamar Chase, one of the best wide receivers we'll ever see. 22.2 PPR points per game in damn near 2 years. That's hard to hold steady. That is very hard to hold steady. This man can do it. Has upside galore. Multiple games of over 40 points. One game of over 50. A lot of games over 30. A lot of games over 25. You may scratch your head at those low ball games, but that's football, man. That's football. T. Higgins is getting more involved in this offense. The last 2 years has been a roller coaster due to the injuries, due to the quarterback play. Joe Flacco is starting to figure out this offense, but you also got Joe Burrow. So you're looking at this, no matter who you got back there, he's got some rapport with them, and that's a good thing to see. Yoshi here. For a man in this offense, with Tyler Boyd back there back in the day and everything they've had, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, as a fill-in when T. Higgins is down or Chase or whatever's happening, he steps up. He steps up. Maybe not gangbusters. Maybe he doesn't go off, but he's also shown you that he's got the potential to score 20, 14, 16, 18. He's got the potential. He's got the potential to bust. He's got the potential to bust. We did this video early last year calling him out. And this is what he is when he gets more opportunity. What you see weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what I'd be looking at here. That's what I'd be looking at here. I see a guy that has a lot of upside, potential to bust, but can hit that upside and can show that has proven that, and is in another sketchy situation coming into week 12 that is actually kind of favorable for him because there's more unknown, more favorable for us, but the downside's there. Like, I'll say that again because some people will listen to me talk and I get excited about these players. The downside's there. The downside is there. This is not a guarantee, which should be common sense in this game if you played this long enough or watched football enough. There's no guarantees. There's only probabilities, not certainties. But this is a guy that has upside, that has tapped into it a few times through his career at a part-time role. You're looking at this offense, third in line in targets, 35. You're seeing that. You're looking at the yards in this offense. Jamar Chase blowing up like always. T. Higgins having a good year with 7 touchdowns, 65 targets on the season. And Jamar Chase is the man. There's a lot of targets that's got to get dispersed. A lot's going to go to T. Some's going to go to Yoshi. I bet some's going to go to the tight ends. I bet it's going to move around. I bet Chase Brown gets a little extra. I bet another wide receiver emerges in this offense. You're definitely seeing that here with the targets per game here. 11.7 for Jamar Chase. So double-digit targets has to be dispersed. So you're not going to all of a sudden see, well, you could, because it could happen, but it's in the realm of possibilities. But odds are, from what we've seen, it spreads out. So you're not going to see T. Higgins to 16 to 20 targets. You're probably going to see him be around 10, 11, 12. And some go to Yoshi, and Yoshi probably be around that 7-ish range, 8-ish range. You'll definitely see that. You're definitely going to see him with a good route participation rate instead of around the 80th percentile range, in the 90-some percentile range out there running routes. You'll definitely see that. And you're definitely probably going to see the ADOT hover around where it's at, maybe higher if we get that deep ball. You're definitely going to see him do that. You're definitely going to see that. You're going to see more work for Yoshi. You're probably going to see like handful more routes. You'll probably definitely see that out there next to T. Higgins. You'll probably see a handful more routes. You'll probably see a handful more targets. Got to cash on it. Got to score that touchdown. You're looking at the routes ran in this offense. I brought up Noah Fant, bringing up the tight ends here. I think that could be a possibility of some of these targets getting fanned out too. I will also bring up a possibility of one of the other ancillary wide receivers, and then also Chase Brown. It's not all going to go to Yoshi. It's not all going to go to T. Higgins. A lot of it's going to go to T. Higgins. A bit's going to go to Yoshi, and it's going to fan out. And it could be a situation where a good bit of targets goes to Fant. Joe Burrow might be back. It looks like he's on IR. Everything you're reading in practice, he's out there. He's limited. They're trying to see what's going on. They're trying to see what's up. They got a big one against the Patriots. The over-under is pretty high. We'll get into that. But you also got this man right here. I think either way you shake it, and really depending on your situation, it may not matter to you anyways. Like both these quarterbacks are going to sling the rock. Flacco, you know, is going to push it 35 to 45 times, and that's great, and that's going to lend you opportunities to Yoshi. I think that's the thing about this. You know Flacco's going to sling it. If Joe Flacco's the man here, that's who I'm rolling with. Flacco's more than likely going to be the man. From what I'm seeing here, he's going to be the starter. They say Joe Flacco will be active for week 12. That's what I'm seeing here. I think Joe Flacco, with him being out there throwing it 35 to 45 times, that is who I'm rolling with. That is what I would want in this scenario. Joe Flacco does not have any allegiances. He's barely been here. He's just trying to get by. He's going to be collecting AARP soon. He doesn't care. He just wants to push the rock, sling it. He doesn't care what's the name on your jersey. He's still trying to learn the names. He probably gets T. Higgins and Jamar Chase mixed up sometimes. He's learning the team. He's learning his players' names. He's learning how to call the offense more and more every week. But now you're looking at Joe Flacco here slinging the rock. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. You're looking at this matchup here. First off, looking at the Patriots and what they do, they allow wide receivers to hit the fairway every single week but one, but that's Cleveland. That's Cleveland. That's how bad the Dylan Gabriel experience was in a matchup where every team got their wide receiver or one of their wide receivers to enlist 10-plus PPR fantasy points except for the Browns. They needed to make that change. They needed a change just to shake it up. You're looking at this, though. Double digits for everybody. T. Higgins should easily crack double digits. And there's potential we get a wide receiver, too, getting you there. Now you're hoping he scores the touchdown. You got to hope for the touchdown because T. Higgins is going to rack up the targets here. And the Patriots, last 3 games, 38 to London, 23 to Buka, 13.5 to matching the Jets. Matching the Jets got some. And they were slinging it a bit. They had to. Drake May's going to help this out. Drake May slinging the rock, and the Bengals defense is going to help this out. You're hoping this game goes bombs over Baghdad, and this 51.5 over under sticks, and Joe Flacco looks better than what he did last week. On top of that, Flacco's at home. That's huge for a quarterback like this, considering he's new to the team. He's got to sling the rock. I like this. I think the odds, I think you're pushing to 50-50. I think you're pushing to 50-50. What I mean by 50-50, there's a 50% chance you bust. Let's call it negative-wise so I don't get you too hyped up right now. I'm going to calm you down a little bit. There's a 50% chance you bust here. I think the other side is, like, you just scrape it. You get to 13, 12, 17-ish points. I think you do have a chance to go over the moon. You got to score. With that 51.5 over under, if we live up to that, how's that going to help? Drake May being Drake May, Flacco playing better than what he did last week, and we hit 250-plus passing yards. Good in the realm of possibilities here. Patriots, at least league average, if not worse, allowing fantasy points to wide receivers. They stuff the run. They're a pass funnel defense. That's great for Yoshi. Chase Brown's going to have to get in a passing game. They will still try to run the ball, but they're going to throw it 40-some times. They're going to throw it 40-some times unless this game script breaks. If Drake May somehow sucks, Joe Flacco somehow sucks, over. over. But if everything lives up to what it's been looking like, this should be a fun game. And now you got a probability of this guy you picked up splashing for you. You're looking at where he's ranked right now. I mean, it's fair considering a lot of these players are in similar situations. When you look at the game script here and the upside for it, and the fact you're leaning into a position where you're going to get more targets, I think it's a little low. I think it's a bit low. I think you got the upside of splashing hard. I know it's scary because the downside makes your ranking look stupid, but also you're ranking for lineups and not fantasy points. If you're ranking for fantasy points, I would put that into a different ranking type scenario. But if I'm ranking for lineups right now and I'm thinking about upside when I got the downside considered, I got it up there. If I'm thinking about just throwing him in and I'm not thinking about I need straight up upside, he probably should be there. But if I'm thinking about lineup strategy and I need to shoot for upside, he should be higher. If that makes sense to you. If you got to go boom bust, he should be higher. With the bust highly in there to where you don't mind because like if he scores 10, 11, 12 or any wide receiver that does that ain't going to help you anyways. You need upside. You need an upside gamble, and this is it. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. That's what a gamble is. High probability of busting, but with the matchup, with the roll here, higher probability of hitting big, and that's it. That's it. You don't need him. It's too risky. Stay away. He's too risky for you if you got to think it twice. If you got to think it and sit there and think, he's too risky for you. He's too risky. This is a time where you just put nuts on the table, you roll with it. That's it. That's it. Nothing special about it. This time you put nuts on the table and you roll with it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.